Hello all, I'm Rob Lee, classically trained producer, and I'm here to help you make engaging music. So today I wanted to talk to you a little bit about this active and stable tones of a triad. So what on earth do I mean? Let's have a look. So here's my keyboard. I'm going to do this on a keyboard so that you can kind of see kind of visually what's going on here. Let's take a simple key like C major. It's all the white notes. For any key that you want to know, you can look at some of my previous videos where I'm making use of the Ableton Learning Playground, so you can know what notes belong in any key. So let's imagine we've got a C major triad. So what is a stable tone? A stable tone is any note that belongs in that triad, that belongs to the scale and belongs to the triad. So for example, if I was going to make a melody over a C major triad, it might sound something a little bit like this. Something like that. You might have noticed that I was only using notes that belonged in that triad. So C, E, and G. Hold up. Stable tones, often known as chord tones. But I like to call them stable tones. And the reason why is because the opposite of that is what's known as an active tone. So what's an active tone, Rob? An active tone is any note that belongs in the scale that's not in the triad that's currently playing. So for example, if I'm in the key of C major and a C major triad is playing, it'll be all of the other notes that don't make up the triad. So for example, let's take a note like B. So what does that note, that B, what does it feel like it wants to do? It feels like it wants to resolve. It wants to activate. It wants to move. And it wants to move towards the C. Oops, sorry. So let's take another note that's not a stable tone of C major. I should add here, the active tones would be B, D, F, A. Stable tones, C, E, G. You might notice that all of those notes make up the C major scale together. Okay. So let's try another active tone. Let's try A, not part of a C major triad. Where does it want to resolve? Yeah, it wants to resolve to the G. What about a note like F? It wants to resolve to the E. Perhaps it could resolve to the G. Could. And then finally D. It wants to resolve to the C. Could resolve to the E. But it sounds better, going down to the C. I think what's the famous song? Whenever you hear that, you want to go, yesterday. That's what I think when I hear that anyway. So that's the stable and active tones of a major triad. Well, of course, exactly the same thing works over minor triads as well. Let's take A minor. Why am I using A minor? Because it's a relative minor of C major, but it doesn't really matter. Let's take A minor. So, of course, any melody that uses the stable tones or the chord tones might sound like this. those notes I just played belong to the triad that is A minor. That's A, C, and E. And of course, all of the notes that belong to that scale that aren't in the triad are the active tones, and they would be G, B, D, and F. So let's have a listen and see what they want to do. That's right, the G wants to move to the A. The F wants to resolve to the E. The D wants to resolve to the C. And the B wants to resolve to the A. Now, once you notice this whole thing of active and stable tones, or you might want to call them chord tones and passing tones, is that then when you are watching or listening to other people's music and you're trying to figure out what's going on, you can use that information to create your own melodies by just looking at the the order of active and stable tones, and see if you can make a melody that uses exactly the same sort of blueprint in terms of active and stable tones. So I hope this video has been of use to you. Like and subscribe, write some comments, and I'll see you next time.